So hello everybody and welcome back to Keefe75 Games. I'm Keefe and today we're going to discuss the PS5 pre-orders, the release date, and we're just going to touch base on it briefly. So basically it was announced yesterday, which was the 16th, today's the 17th, that as you can see here on the screen, the PlayStation Digital Edition and the PlayStation 5 Disc Edition, and prices $499.99 for the disc drive one and $399.99 for the all digital one, which basically for the one with the disc drive they matched Microsoft, which I kind of thought maybe they would undercut them just a little bit, but apparently not. They matched them, which ain't a bad thing. It's still going to do very well. And then you have the all digital. Now the all digital, they did go $100 more expensive than Microsoft's all digital, but the PS5 all digital edition is still a PS5, and therefore it's more powerful than the Xbox Series S. So that's why it's a little bit more pricier, because you're basically getting a next generation console rather than the Xbox Series S is a next generation console, but it's like dialed down. It doesn't have the full potential as the Series X does. So that's why, that's the explanation for the digital edition being $399. As you can see here, it says see you in November. Scroll down a little bit. This is the actual date. Get it on screen for you. November 12th. Okay, so if you look at this, get it into screen here. November 12th is US, Japan, Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, South Korea, and then November 19th for the rest of the world, which basically I'm just going to release earlier in US, Japan, Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, South Korea on the 12th, and then on November 19th for the rest of the world, which I don't know why they're doing it like that. It makes sense to them. Just release it to everybody. Maybe because there's just such a high demand for it that's just how they have to do it. But either way, it is what it is. So if you look at this, it says PlayStation 5 matches the price of the Xbox Series X. So Sony has matched the price of the forthcoming flagship PlayStation 5 to that of Microsoft's Xbox Series X. Last time around, the PS4 significantly undercut the Xbox One at launch. And Sony also confirmed that the PS5's digital edition, which does not have a disc drive, would cost about 40% more than the lower-end Xbox Series S. Both PS5 consoles are set to be released on November 19th in the UK and 12th November in the US, Japan, and Australia. That puts them slightly later than Microsoft's 10th of November launch date. Sony was the clear leader in the previous generation of the so-called console wars. The various PlayStation 4 consoles outsold the Xbox One range by a factor of more than 2 to 1. But the $499/500/Euro 500 cost of the Japanese firm's top new machine and the $360/400/400 price of the digital edition means it may be a closer battle this time, at least to begin with. Numbers of the games sold, consoles sold, total sales of all versions of each console. PS4 sold 111 million, which is really good. And as you can see, it leads Microsoft because it's only 51 million. Nintendo Switch is even beating Microsoft by 8 million. So whatever, that's just preference really. But me personally, I am a PS4 fan. Source Ampri, sorry if I'm butchering that word, analysis. Some industry watchers believe Microsoft's combination of a €250 price for the Xbox Series S, or a $299 I believe for US, the value offered by the Xbox Game Pass subscription service could give the US firm an advantage. Microsoft offers members its first-party blockbuster games that launch in its games library, unlike Sony's existing PlayStation Now services, which is limited to older major releases. Sony's decision to price some of its first PS5 releases at €70 or $70, I believe, including the Ultimate Edition of Sony's Spider-Man new game Demon Souls, represents a rise and will also have to be taken into consideration. It showed off a new subscription service called the PlayStation Plus Collection for the PS5, which kind of looked pretty cool. PS5 owners will be able to play the PS4's God of War and are being promised a sequel of their own. That right there is a gem. God of War Part 2, yes, or a sequel to it, whatever. But it appeared to focus on PS4's greatest hits, including The Last of Us Remastered, God of War, and Bloodborne, rather than any of the PS5's forthcoming releases. Microsoft has a really appealing offering with the Xbox Series S pricing at just €250 or I believe $299 US. And Sony doesn't really have an answer for that, for people who just want the cheapest possible entry point to the next generation gaming. Video game journalist Laura Date told BBC. However, people who want to play any of Sony's first-party franchises are unlikely to be swayed to Xbox just because it's cheaper, which I agree with. It doesn't, just because it's cheaper doesn't mean it's the better option. One key difference between the two companies' strategies is that the Xbox Series S delivers a lower resolution graphics than the Series X. Now guys, remember what I was touching on at the beginning of this whole video when I was speaking of this. This is the bread and butter of what I'm gonna explain and get to why I said it earlier. The Series S delivers lower resolution graphics than the Series X because it has less powerful components, while Sony has opted only to remove the Blu-ray drive from its entry-level machine. See, that's the difference there. The only thing Sony did was just take the drive out, so it's still the same console, rather than the Xbox Series S is a totally different console altogether. That's the price difference and the reason why. You're probably better off with the PlayStation 5, but that would be your preference and your own choice. Personally, I would go with the Sony option of it. On that bias, its marketeers may still argue it provides a better value to experience the full power of what next generation games can deliver. The trailer for the new Final Fantasy game said it would only be released on the PS5 and PCs. Interesting. Even so, it's likely Sony will instead focus its appeal on the draw of its console exclusive titles. To that end, during its latest virtual event, it showed trailers and gameplay for, and it goes into Final Fantasy, the latest entry in Square Enix series, which appears to be set in a medieval world, this time around after the sci-fi themed last title. Then we have Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, including a lengthy battle with supervillains the Tinkerer on the bridge. A version of this game will also be released for the PS4. Deathloop, this one in particular, I'm excited for this. An assassin-themed shooter in which time repeats, helping players learn how best to hunt their targets. Sony also teased its forthcoming God of War sequel, Ragnarok, which is said would be released next year, but only showed off an animated logo. It is possible that the PS5 will have launched 3 console exclusive titles before the Xbox Series X manages to launch its first. Let me repeat that. It is possible that the PS5 will have launched 3 console exclusive titles before Microsoft even manages to launch one. Halo Infinite, which no day in 2021 specified as of yet, said Louis Shorthouse, a games analyst at Omedia. Consumers also tend to stick with the same console brands across generations, so Sony is in incredibly strong position, which I can agree there. I have a PS4. I've always been a Sony fan. Many of the games on the show had been previewed at an earlier event in June, which was the first one. And we got, this looks like some Harry Potter footage. Hogwarts Legacy is an open-world game set more than 100 years before Harry Potter was born. That sounds interesting. There was also a first look at a much-anticipated The Harry Potter spin-off, Hogwarts Legacy. The role-player game will be a cross-platform release in 2021. Facebook boosts power and cuts price of Oculus Quest VR headset. Xbox blinks first by pricing Xbox ahead. Marvel's Avengers game can be more personal than movies. The two higher spec consoles are close to each other in terms of specification. The Xbox has more storage, but the PS5 is slightly faster. A gaming expert said, there are still reasons why people will pick a specific console. What platform will your friends play on, for example, is highly influential. It looks like Sony is almost trolling arch rival Microsoft by matching the PS5's price to that of the Xbox Series X. The gambit will have surprised many industry observers. Xbox felt forced to reveal its prices last week following a leak, and this seemed to gift PlayStation a second mover advantage. But when I spoke to PlayStation's chief executive, Jim Ryan, he was adamant that the PS5's price points had been set since the beginning of the year. Likewise, he said today's announcements had been in his diary for some time. On paper, the Xbox Series X is the more powerful machine, but, and there's that but the PlayStation has a solid lineup of platform exclusive titles. And the delay of Halo Infinite, after fans complained that the footage shown earlier in the year was underwhelming, to say the least, has been a big blow to Microsoft's original launch plans. But the PS5 fighting the last generation console war. Xbox has a compelling offer with its Game Pass Ultimate subscription service. So even if Xbox doesn't sell as many physical consoles as PlayStation, it may still prove to be less as profitable. When I questioned Mr. Ryan about the possibility of a similar service, he said PlayStation was about big blockbuster games that cost a lot to make, so a similar subscription service model would not make financial sense. We'll find out whether he sticks to that strategy in 2021 or beyond. Supplies meet demand. So, with that being said, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Are you guys going to get one? Are you going to pre-order one? Pre-orders should be open now, I mean, so to speak. If you look at this, it launches November 12th. They stated that pre-orders would be live. I think it was last night, to be honest with you. But I'm going to try to get down to either a GameStop, a Best Buy, or wherever it is they are, you know, pre-ordering them. I would give them a phone call first, see if they have any left or whatever. I would always call first, and rather than drive all the way there and be disappointed. But as you can see, the hype is real, guys. The hype is real. PS5 pre-orders will be available starting as early as tomorrow at select retailers, which tomorrow is now today, because I'm a little bit behind at filming this, but at least I'm still doing it and I'm getting it out there to you guys so you guys have some information. So with that being said, you know, give me some information. Let me know what you're gonna get. If you're gonna get the Microsoft, the Xbox, or are you gonna get the PS5? I'm curious to know, you know, what's your preferences? Are you a Sony fan, or are you a Microsoft fan? Let me know. Start a little conversation down in the comments. I can never get this right, but I'm trying. I am. I'm still a newbie, but I'm trying to bring you guys the best content I can so that you guys are up to date on everything that's going on. But I mean, with that being said, guys, please smash that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like. And I will leave a link, and I believe could be this corner, or it might even be that corner. But I will leave a link to my son's YouTube channel. His name is NastyGamer7798. Plays a lot of Fortnite, and he's actually really good at it. We play on and off just about every day. And he's teaching me. I don't play Fortnite much, but I have been recently because of him, because I want to spend some time with him, and it seems to be working out pretty well. We have a blast. We already got a few victory royales, and we're both happy. I caught footage of it. That will be coming up soon, so pay attention, and if you are subscribed to my channel, and if you don't want to miss stuff like that that's upcoming, click the bell notification icon in the lower right hand corner of the screen. I think over here. not in full view. You got to be in the regular where you can read all the writing and the next video is coming and everything. And if you look down in that little corner, it will have a little bell icon. If you click on that, you'll never miss another video because you will be notified when I upload. So with that being said, guys, please go check out my son. I left the link earlier. Say hello, tell him I sent you. Like, subscribe if you like. With that being said, adios. This is Keefy75, and I'm signing off saying peace.